universe is calling you. The universe is calling me. It speaks both day and night. It's full of dark and light.
Hey, good afternoon, everybody. This is Mark D'Antonio. Yes, we are live. It's a live show, and look who that is. It's Tara. Hi, Tara.
Hey, how you doing, Mark? Hi, everyone.
I'm doing fine. It's been tough. I actually had a big Navy job to do, and it took me for a number of weeks to get that done. A lot of work, and I just shipped it yesterday, and I told Bill I'm definitely going to be doing a show tonight. And then he yelled at me and said, well, you haven't done very many shows, I hope he hasn't heard me because he'll probably come in now. And there he is. Now I'm getting yelled at.
I mean, speak of Bill.
I was looking for my Sky Tour cap.
Oh, yeah. Yes.
I have my Sky Tour shirt right there.
Here's mine right here.
But there is something going on tonight, Mark, but you'll be on the air with Tara by us. At approximately 9:26, you'll be able to see the ISS quite brightly.
Oh, cool.
Cool. But that's by us here in the East Coast, not with Tara.
Yes.
That's okay.
Connecticut, New York, that
Tara
kind of
can't play. She can't. If she can't play, I'm playing.
In my mind's eye, I'll remember Skylab when it went over my backyard a long time ago. So that was really fun and cool to see.
Yeah, long time ago in the air above my house. Yeah, I know. I've seen that.
Actually, it's supposed to track across the United States.
Oh, cool.
Yeah,
but it's
pretty cool.
It's early where
a lot of people can see it. That's
exactly
great.
So, folks, keep an eye out for that.
Yeah.
I mean,
that's neat. Thanks, Phil.
Yeah, and Tara is 2,600 miles away from me out in Arizona, and I'm in Connecticut, and tomorrow I'm going to be seeing her in the evening.
Yes, that'll be great.
I'm flying out there, and we're going to I'm going to be doing some maintenance on the Sonoran telescope, and I'm going to be doing some maintenance on the Benson telescope. I'm adding another camera to the Benson telescope.
Oh,
I did want to actually show that. I don't know if it'll show here. Oh, yeah, there we go. Okay, this is our two cameras we have right now. You can see them right there. Okay. But this camera down below, this is actually a pan and tilt camera. So I can move it around and look at the sky and see things.
Nice.
And the telescope is over here. You can see it right there. As it gets dark, it'll be even it'll be nicer. And I'm going to add another camera this coming week on the other side of the door, right about here. And it's going to be sitting up above the roof and looking in, and it will be able to look out into the driveway and around.
Oh, cool.
It adds some security to every other astronomer in the row down the row here, because there's 9 other professional astronomers along with me sitting here doing this stuff remotely. So you can't have too many cameras.
No, and it's kind of neat how it's tucked in between these two little small hills too. There's the other large observatory on the top of the hill there.
That's right. As a matter of fact,
it's really cool.
That you can see. Let me just show that a little better here. There's the other observatory right there. You can see the dome. The That's the dome of the building.
See it. It's so tiny, but yeah.
I know. I can actually. I can make it bigger.
There. Oh, that helps.
So
yeah.
Now you can see.
Thank you.
There's the building there. And so the telescope is right here. You can see, and there's a lot of equipment on this telescope. We got a lot going on here. So right here, this guy right here, this is called a filter wheel, right? There you can see the cursor where my cursor is. That's the filter wheel. So the light comes down this long barrel, okay, hits a primary mirror, comes up to a secondary mirror, and bounces down through a hole in this mirror, and goes.
Tiny hole.
Well, it's a big hole, okay, and it goes through this barrel, and then goes through this filter wheel, and any filter I want is now in a ring in there, and I can just rotate whatever one I want.
That's cool.
And then goes out to the camera right here at the end, okay, and now you can imagine a lot of things change when you have a telescope running. You have focus issues, and as the temperature changes, the focus changes. So this telescope's focus will change as the telescope cools down as the night progresses. And so this guy here, this is an autofocus system right here, and I can automatically control the focus. Then you've got this thing right here. You see this red thing?
Yes.
This thing is a camera sticking into another piece, which is this thick ring. And this guy has a little tiny prism that sticks down into the field a tiny, tiny bit, but not enough so that it's visible in the main camera. So it's sticking down a little bit, and it's picking off a little bit of the light. And when it picks off a little bit of this light, there's undoubtedly going to be stars in there. And what I can do is I can guide with this little camera down here. I can have the camera send signals to the telescope guiding system to say, okay, keep this star in the crosshair, guide perfectly, make sure that no matter what comes along, keep that star right there in that crosshair. And that's how you do time exposures, because the telescope, even though it's guiding with the stars, I might have told you this too, Tara. As long because it's guiding with the stars, right? It still needs microscopic corrections, and the smallest error is going to show up on your image that you're taking.
Right.
And if you're doing an image that's 15 minutes long, right? That's a long image. And so we don't do that with SkyTour live stream. We take 20 seconds, 30 seconds, 60 seconds, sometimes more, 90 seconds, if we're doing something interesting. But what I do is I try to stick to the lower numbers. And the reason is because we got people watching from all over the world. So we want to be able to let people enjoy that, right? And we don't want to end up having to say to people, hey, you can go and make a sandwich while we're taking a picture. No one does that. Well, except Bill. Bill does that. Yeah.
Well, when you're hungry, you got to go,
You're right.
Was this the telescope that you observed and took images of the 3i Atlas, Mark?
I did. In fact, we're going to get to that in just a moment, I think, because over in my media assets, one of the things that I think is interesting about this whole 3i Atlas. Let's talk about, first of all, the naming. Let's talk about what's 3i, what's 2i, what was 1.
Well, okay. I am going to disappear and watch the both of you and enjoy this like everyone else is watching and listening, so I can focus on what you're going to be discussing. So have a great show to both of you.
If you leave, then it's only Tara and I who's doing this. There's nobody else.
The Snappy producer needs to go do
go make a sandwich.
Listen, Snappy. Get your butt out of here, Snappy.
Love to both of you.
Thanks, Phil.
Watching, have a great night and enjoy the show.
All right. Talk soon.
Later.
Bye. All right. So the bottom line is, did he say we have commercial breaks on the hour or?
Yes, 57.
Oh, thank you. See, folks, I hear things, but they go, and you go right in one ear and out the other.
What do they do? Oh, okay, good. Okay.
Yeah. So I do want to welcome everybody that's watching. It's really cool to have you all here. Thank you so much for coming. Now, this, as I mentioned before, this telescope system that we're looking at here, we're running this telescope at a focal length that's called f7, okay, at f ratio. Now, the telescope is normally f10, and the number is significant because the higher the number, the slower photographically the scope is. So a picture where you want to take a picture of a nebula, like Orion Nebula or the Lagoon Nebula.
Okay, yeah.
Okay? You take a picture with an f10 system of a nebula, and it's going to take longer for that image to get onto the sensor, and it's going to take a longer exposure to get the equivalent image to what might be something we can take with an f7 telescope like this in 25 or 30 seconds. All right. Now, with Skytour Sonoran, the other telescope that we have, and that's 220 miles from this one, okay, up west of Phoenix.
The other direction.
The other direction. Yeah, the other way. Yeah, that telescope out there is a wide field system. And so it's very, very fast. We're running at an F ratio there, not of F7 like this scope, but we've converted it to run at F1.8. So that's very, very, very quick. And so a 25-second photo there is usually more than enough for everything that we would take pictures of.
But you still stack them, right?
Yes, I do. And what does stacking do? Do you know? You can tell me. I know you know.
Doesn't the stacking reduce the noise?
Absolutely. And where's the noise come from?
From your head.
Exactly.
There's a lot of noise in there.
Hey, yeah. And
isn't the noise from dust particles in the space? I'm not sure about that.
No, that's fair. Okay. Here's what happens. When we took pictures on film, okay, we had something called film grain. And that was the fineness of the formulation on the film. Okay. And that, depending on what you got for film, sometimes the grain would be large, like with a 400 speed film. Okay. With a 25 speed film, those grains were really tiny. And you had to expose longer to get the image that was equivalent to the 400 speed film. If you take a 400 speed film shot at, say, 10 seconds, and you did a 10-second shot with 25 speed film, it would be that many times less bright. So you had to account for that, okay? So in the case of these sensors are digital sensors. The film is a thing of the past. There's no more film. My son actually has a great website called shootretro.com. Okay. And as a photographer, he works for the big TV station here in Connecticut called WFSB Channel 3. And he runs shootretro.com. He buys and sells, as a hobby, film cameras. And he buys film from all over. He has Russian film. He has film from all over the country, all over the world. And he shoots it and then does a review on it to see how it holds up over all this time. So the film is still available. And to get it developed is now the expensive part. Whereas getting it developed in the past, it was kind of cheap. You know, now it isn't anymore. Now it's a specialty thing. But digital cameras, don't have the same type of grain, all right, that film did. All right. Now we are in a different situation. We have a sensor, a digital sensor, and you have two factors. There's many factors on these sensors, but the two main ones are gain, all right, how sensitive that you make that sensor, and you're in charge of that. You can set that, okay? And
so you say.
Yes, I can set mine from 0 all the way to 600 in gain. Okay, now people say, well, that's not a huge amount. 600 speed film is slow. I have 25,400 speed film. I have 800,000 speed film, which is, sensors, but that's not how that's rated. The 600 is the equivalent of many tens of thousands of speed. Okay, and 0 is the one that's the obviously where you actually let the sensor have the material, the light comes in, and whatever you get. Okay, so shooting something at 0 is beneficial, though. For instance, if you're shooting the moon, why is that? Because 0 means the lowest possible amount of noise for the exposure. Okay. 600 is the highest amount of noise for the exposure. So you're going to see all these little pixelated images that have all this noise in it at 600. So I generally run at 250 gain on the telescope here. And I will be doing anywhere from 25-second to 60-second exposures to make up for the f7 versus f1.8, which is much faster photographically. So when you're faster photographically, you can tune down that gain and get less noise for a wide angle shot, which is important because when you do a wide angle shot, everything in there is much smaller Okay, the field literally
Right.
it's 1.5 degrees by 1 degree in size. Okay, now the moon is half a degree. All right, so it's 1.5. So it's 3 full moons across by 1 full moon tall. That's the size of this. Okay, and so the wide field, not this one, the wide field system in Sonoran, and so that wide field system is big. So we have to have, and because it's so fast photographically, we can take the gain down low and shoot shots of the Milky Way and see beautiful pinpoint stars. But if we set it to 250, then those pinpoint stars are going to be sharing the stage, okay, with noise.
The gain, or all that.
Yes, exactly. The noise from the gain. So to make those tiny, tiny stars stand out, you use low gain, okay, and a relatively long exposure, 25 seconds for such a slow one, for that. Okay, let's look up here a little bit. All right. So obviously, that said, what we want to talk about then is, in this particular case, is with the Sonoran telescope. That's a much faster system. This is not so fast. However, because we're running it at f7, this telescope has a field of view, which is only about, oh my gosh, let's see, 1/5 of a degree in size. It's very, very small.
Oh,
okay. So we see a smaller portion of the sky. All right. And when we see a small portion of the sky, it allows us to see more detail. So when we take pictures of galaxies and faint nebulae that are small, we see a lot of detail in there. When we do that with the wide field system, it's this big on the image, and you zoom way in, and I only have a few pixels representing that.
Right.
And it doesn't look as clean, as crisp, and as clear as this system. So coupled with that wide field system out in the Sonoran Desert, 220 miles away, this system and that system together make a good combination. So we take pictures of the wide field stuff with that other telescope, and then we zoom into some sections within that wide field with this telescope. And many times we'll open both observatories at the same time.
Oh, it's so cool. Can you stack pictures from both telescopes into one picture because you could match the stars?
Oh, good question. We could actually match the backgrounds, the background brightness, because the field system is going to see a brighter background brightness, okay, than this system. Okay, this is f7 and the other one's f1.8, so you have to match that brightness. Okay. And yes, we could then take a section of the wide field nebula and insert a section matched to it of more detail. Exactly.
Oh, that would be cool.
Oh, it's very cool. It's a wonderful thing to do. Yeah. Yeah. It's really, really good. Yeah.
Even you say the one is, stellar, basically vision and on it and stuff. It doesn't matter which telescope. They're all amazing pictures and they're beautiful. They're all just breathtaking. So
yeah, we have a lot of good stuff. I think it's pretty cool, and the thing is, I love the fact that we can do this ourselves. Yes, there's other telescopes out there that are doing it. I applied to be the Vera Rubin telescope, which is based in Tucson right now. I applied to be their outreach astronomer. And I would have been doing this as well as that. But they wanted someone with different qualifications than mine. It's the way jobs are, right? So I thought, okay, that's fine. So I chose to come and make SkyTour live stream, the thing that I'm going to do. And right now it's been very successful. We've been having a good run. It's important, that people help us. Obviously, we're run on donations. We are a 501c3, which you helped us do. Obviously, you're the third person in this mess. You're the third wheel in here. Okay, and it's a three-wheel.
It's an honor.
It's a tricycle, and you're one of the wheels. Okay. Can't run without it.
Me and Marianne are in the back, and you're leading the way.
Yeah, well, I'm just a big mouth. But honestly, the passion that all of us feel for this science is incredible. And
Interesting.
yeah, that's right. And one of the things that I also wanted to bring up today, and we'll leave that going in the background here.
Okay.
But and so one of the things I just wanted to bring up too was that using that telescope we just saw, I went and imaged the area of the sky where this interstellar object was.
Oh, cool.
And I was hoping that I'd be able to catch a piece of it. And it's very faint, but I imaged an area where it was for a number of minutes. Okay.
That's a long time.
And it was long enough, yeah. And I caught a tiny dash of light, and it was exactly in the spot where this thing should be. So I'm going to show that to you now.
Yay,
This is,
okay.
and I put a little square around it. Hey, I know, very
I think you're real
anticlimactic.
close.
It's very anticlimactic. But if you notice inside the square, there's a little dash of light. Okay,
I believe you.
this is it. And
Neat.
yeah, and I had to process this for quite a while to
Wow.
showcase it against the Milky Way that was also trying to compete with the brightness of this guy right here. And so,
Yeah, you can see.
as you can see, it's very, very little. And it's just tiny.
Kudos for you for seeing that.
Yeah, well, I spent a lot of time trying to locate it. Now, here's the thing, okay? This guy, all right, is just one potential object. If we go to a view of it, if we go to the Gemini Observatory at Mauna Kea on top, okay, this telescope that we just saw here, okay, this guy right here, okay, this telescope is an 11-inch diameter telescope, okay. The telescope that I'm going to show you now is a 38-foot diameter telescope, and there were two of them. 38-foot diameter telescope, yes.
Wow.
And there were two of them right next to each other. And this is what they saw of this object.
Wow.
That's a huge difference
Wow.
from this. Okay. All right. So, yeah, this is the Gemini telescope's rendering of this object. Now, you notice it's a little bit fuzzy. Okay. Now, that fuzzy, like fuzzy wuzzy was a bear.
He
Okay.
had no hair.
You're right. That fuzz is something that people say, oh, look, it's like a comet, it's outgassing. But in fact, it's actually not that. Part of the image, the way it looks, is due to the fact that the object's moving. And when I took that image, which you can't really see in here, okay, but when I took this image, inside that red square, there's a tiny dash of light as the thing moved through the field. And it moved at a speed of 1.47 arc seconds per minute. So very, very small amount of movement. And over time, over the several minutes I took this picture, that little dash grew. And I was studying it with a magnifier to make sure I had it. And that's exactly where it was supposed to be at that time. And it's the only dash on the image. So that tells me that we probably got some luck seeing it. Okay?
That's really neat.
Yeah. Now, this object is going to be coming through our solar system. It's going to get closest to the sun in October.
Oh.
However, we're going to be on the other side of the sun at that point, and we won't see it anymore. Right? But the interesting thing about this is this object is it's basically coming in at a very low angle. If this is our solar system's plane, okay, this thing's coming in at just about an angle like this, 5 degrees. And that's actually, Pluto is at a higher angle to our solar system. Pluto is 17.1 degrees above the plane of our solar system. This thing's only 5. If you consider the moon is 5 degrees above our plane, and you don't really notice, okay? So this is coming in literally right along the edge, and it's coming through our solar system. And the chances of this thing coming through just like this at a almost level with our plane of our solar system is only 0.2%. making it really odd that this thing is coming in like this. Another oddity, which is why people are wondering what's going on with this thing, is that it's also passing by Jupiter, Mars, and Venus as it comes through, and that's going to look like this. Okay, you can see it's coming in. All right, it's out there. It's about 2.5 astronomical units away. Okay, and it's that means it's just a little bit further than Mars right now, obviously, and so that's going to come in, but then it's going to kind of hook around our sun from a long distance, and it's going to pass by Venus, Mars, and Jupiter. Okay.
Cool.
Yeah, and that's at least that's you got to keep in mind that this is a three-dimensional image, so it's going to be coming in almost level with our solar system. So this is the best rendering so far of what we think it's going to do.
Can it skip off of the plane of our solar system?
Yeah, I wish it was like a lake, huh?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it can't do that, but it's kind of cool. Kind of cool.
Kind of,
So,
yeah.
Yeah, this object's neat.
Cool.
Now, here's the thing, too. An interstellar object passing by Jupiter, Mars, and Venus. Well, Avi Loeb at Harvard said, and you guys know I've worked with him on programs and stuff, but Avi said that it's going by these planets with what he considers, quote unquote, precision. So that's pretty odd, Now, taken together, it means that we can't dismiss the possibility that this is also some type of extraterrestrial ship from an intelligence. Is it? Probably not.
Probe or something?
Yeah, it could be. Is it a probe? But why would it be going by Jupiter, Mars, and Venus? That's pretty odd, And why with such precision? I mean, we did the same thing when we sent a probe out to Jupiter. We did the same kind of thing. We're going to pass by Mars and go to hook up to Jupiter. Is this another species who's found our solar system because they see the blue in our atmosphere and they recognize it as the presence of oxygen molecules and nitrogen molecules that scatter the blue light from our star? Is that what we're looking at? Hard to tell, and we're probably not going to know that answer. And okay.
Are you okay? Earthquake!
Yeah, it was a little earthquake. Sorry about that. Yeah.
Mark, when it gets to a certain closeness to it, won't it get more? Can't we take better pictures of it and see what it is?
Unfortunately, it's going to be on the other side of the sun from us at that point.
Oh, well, yeah, I guess you did say.
So it's going to that'll be more of an issue than a help.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but you're right. If it gets a little closer, we can train our telescopes on it until it disappears into the daytime sky, and then we're not going to be able to see it.
Right.
Right. Now, that doesn't mean spaceborne telescopes won't be able to see it, but the only one that might have a shot would be Hubble. And the trouble is, Hubble's riding along with the Earth. And if it's on the other side, it's going to be difficult for the Hubble to see as well. Because
we need to get a few. Pardon me, I'm sorry. We just need to get a few more telescopes up in this space.
Yeah, we do. Yeah, we do. And the James Webb can't do it because the James Webb is an infrared telescope. It looks only at the heat. This thing will be generating plenty of that, okay, when the sun's hitting it. However, the problem is that the bottom of the James Webb telescope has multiple layers of this diamond-shaped sunshade, and it always blocks the sun. So the telescope back here won't see sunlight, and if it doesn't see sunlight hitting this, okay, it means it won't have its sensors affected by the infrared radiation coming from the sun, which could blow it out, and that would be bad. That would be bad. So the sunshade is always going to be facing the sun. We're not going to be able to say, hey, let's check out that thing. Hey, there it is, but we lost our satellite. Mm-hmm. Yeah. It's got to be chilly and cold, and it's got to be perfectly aligned, and we can't afford to rock it too far back and forth because we don't want that sunshade to allow any light to strike the sensor, because that would be very, very bad. it'll immediately heat the sensor up beyond usability pretty quickly. So we don't want that.
Wow.
Yeah, isn't that neat though?
That is so cool. There's
a
lot of engineering in that.
Yeah. So when we talk about James Webb looking at it, or Hubble, all we have is the Keck telescopes that can actually see it the best way. Vera Rubin might be able to check it out, but time's running out, and they're only going to have a couple more months before it starts to head into the daytime sky, and that will be the end of the summer into the fall. So that's not going to be good. It won't be very helpful to us at all.
So are there any other instruments that can be focused on it now to detect what it is, or have elements of it, or anything like we do the supernovas or things like that?
Yes.
There is?
This one.
No. With those filters?
Yeah, no, this one. Actually, that's worth mentioning. Thank you. When I imaged this thing, okay, I actually put a filter on which removes much of the Milky Way, right? But only allows to the stellar images of certain size. And so the Milky Way was somewhat subdued. So the cloudiness was removed, but the stars remained. So that's why it looks more black. Otherwise, if I use a regular filter that I use on there, it would just be all Milky Way. You wouldn't see anything, and it'd be very, very hard to pick it out. But by just doing this, I was able to pick out just this particular interstellar object. And
cool.
It was actually very much helped by the gain of the telescope being pumped up pretty high. I pushed the telescope a little bit beyond its potential in order to get that image.
Oh, breaking it in real good.
But yeah, and that's okay. I mean, but you know what? You to do that is very important. You got to do that. So I'm pretty cool. With that, and like I said, we have a lot of people watching tonight who are part of SkyTour live stream. And because this is broadcasting on the live stream channel, I can see people here. I do want to say hello to all of them, but I can't do that here. And I know we can do that by saying, hi, guys. It's nice to see you all. But so that said, one of the things that I wanted to do was to keep talking about the future, where we're going to go, because where we're heading with the telescope systems is something that is really important to understand. And I'll start with the fact that we have the Wickenburg location southwest in the Sonoran, where we have our Sonoran telescope, and then we have Benson here. As we already saw, this was Benson. But we're looking at a solar telescope, which is going to be here. Okay, because in Connecticut, the skies are terrible for astronomy compared to Benson and where we are in Sonora, but they're perfect for the sun. And so we're going to have a solar telescope here. I have the solar telescope. It's in the closet right there, but you cannot see. Okay, and I'm going to be putting it on a stand which looks at only the sun. It's going to follow only the sun. It's not going to go anywhere else, not have the ability to go anywhere else. It's just going to have the sun there all day, every day. And we're going to broadcast the sun live. And it's going to show you the prominences, the beautiful filamentary structures, like 10 times, 100 times bigger than the Earth. We're going to see coronal outbursts and stuff like that. Oh. And hopefully we won't see them going like this. When we come right
towards us. Duck.
We'll see a few of those, I'm sure. But
I can't wait. That is really cool. Well, and yeah.
And then in August, I go to Colorado for a second time. I was just there, but I go a second time, and this time I'm going to the San Luis Valley. And the San Luis Valley of Colorado is another location that has skies that are even darker than either Benson or the Sonoran. Literally among the darkest skies in the entire planet.
Wow.
And the only problem with that, there's a caveat.
Always
is the San Luis plains over there tend to have very, very high winds. And so we'll have to manage the winds and look at the weather data to make sure that we don't have to worry about the telescope. Because with this telescope here, you'll notice that we have, okay, let me just move this over a little bit. Okay, you'll notice that you have the telescope here and you have this barrel here.
Right.
This telescope's a giant sail, and if we raise it up, okay, it can come up above this telescope observatory. All right, I'm gonna just put this back down here for a minute because I'm gonna try something here.
Okay.
Yeah.
Let's see.
Okay. Right. So the best thing now, then, so I'm gonna do this. I'll show you what I mean. All right. So, all right, I added. I turned on the power to the pier. Okay.
Okay.
And what I'm going to do now is bring up this guy here. I'm going to bring up my control program. It's called Green Swamp Server. I love it. Right. And then I'm going to connect telescope. And there it is. Telescope's connected. I'm going to unpark it. So now it's going to be available for running. All right. This is actually about the angle. So this mimics exactly what you see there. Okay. And then I'm going to tell this to go home. This is the home position. And the telescope is now moving up.
There it goes.
Yeah. And it goes up, and it could just maybe go a little bit bigger on this. So the telescope looks up, and I come down here a little. All right. And when the telescope is looking around here, what we're noticing here is that, okay, the telescope now is in the home position. And if you notice where the barrel is pointing straight up into the sky, isn't it? And this barrel is subject to winds. If you have winds coming, this way across the building, okay, it's going to tend to push on all this, and it could actually cause the images to do this. And so we have a guiding system that will eject and reject all the images that are bounced by wind, and only accept the ones that didn't have wind in them. Okay.
Smart.
And that's very important. All right. So that makes it so this telescope will work just fine. Now I'm in Connecticut, and that telescope is 2,600 miles from me right now. So I'm controlling everything from Connecticut. That's from this little program here I wrote, which controls the observatory. Okay, that's this guy here. Right. This was a system I wrote to just give me control and allow me to do different things in a very simple manner, so that I would have no problem controlling the system. Right.
It doesn't look simple.
You know what? That's because there's some stuff hidden in there that came from hard knocks learning, and then I did have to add all kinds of fail safes. Things like you can't shut off the telescope while it's sticking up in the air. You can't close the roof while the telescope's sticking up in the air. It won't allow you to close it until the telescope is out of the way. I mean, all that stuff took kind of a bit of time to figure out.
Mm-hmm.
Good job. Yeah, it's pretty cool. Now, one thing, when winter rolls around again, we're going to be able to study the constellation of Orion a little better than we could with the wide field system. And I see that we have a question from it's a Sky to Life fan. I think his name's Evan. He said, recently the star Betelgeuse was found to be a binary system. Could our sun be a binary with a dim red dwarf? That's a question that's often been posed. But here's where that comes from. When you have stars generally are more than one. They generally come in pairs, triplets. Sometimes you can have multiple members in a cluster of stars that are all orbiting each other. Globular clusters, the stars in the center are all kind of gravitationally bound to each other. Okay, and stars themselves, within themselves, they actually have other stars orbiting them Okay, Sirius is a good example. Sirius, the brightest star in our northern sky, Sirius has a small little white dwarf star orbiting it. Okay, so that means that star was a red giant at one point, and people probably saw that red giant from here when it was, and it went back. It went down to a white dwarf. Now we're probably talking, quite a long time ago when it was a red giant, and that's what Sirius was in the sky. It was a red giant with a probably was a reddish white star, because those colors would mix together. But Sirius is very bright, and that red giant would have actually competed with it for brightness. But Sirius, we can only see it when we look at it very carefully with a telescope, and we have to block out the brightness of Sirius itself to see that other companion. And the question is, Betelgeuse said they have a companion, and Betelgeuse is very large. Betelgeuse is so large, as a matter of fact.
How large is it?
Yay! If you put it where the sun is, it would extend all the way out to Jupiter's orbit.
That's crazy.
Isn't that crazy?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and
that's big.
That's really big, as a matter of fact. And in fact, if we go back to this image, it kind of gives it to you. Put Betelgeuse there. This is the size right here. This diameter of that Jupiter orbit, the Jovian orbit, all the way out there. That's how big. As you can see, Mercury, Venus, Earth, and Mars would be swallowed within, and Jupiter potentially would be swallowed within. So we found stars that are orbiting, their main host star very, very close. And some are called spectroscopic binaries, meaning that they're so close that we can't even separate them except by looking at the spectra and seeing the chemical composition of the star suddenly polluting the main star's spectrum. And when that happens, we know at that point that the star is actually orbiting with another star coming in front of it. And now we see its spectrum too. When it's behind the star, we don't. When it comes in front, we do. Okay, so when it's here, we see it. When it's there, we don't. So we say, hey, we're getting this change in the spectrum every so often. What's that telling us? It's telling us that we're looking at a binary star, a star that has more than one. Okay, and we can see the spectra of the binary. We can see the spectra of each component. Now, if you consider Betelgeuse, bring this up again. Okay. Looking at this right here, if you look at that diagram, you look at Jupiter's orbit. We know that some stars have companions that are closer to the star than Jupiter is to our sun. And as I mentioned, Betelgeuse would be as big as Jupiter's orbit if it was here. So is it possible that you could have had a companion star orbiting within the atmosphere of Betelgeuse, maybe out here, and like where Jupiter is? Could it be just inside Jupiter's orbit and orbiting within the star? And that was a concept. Weird. Yeah. But that was a concept that was thought about, because we look at Betelgeuse. Betelgeuse is so big we can actually image its actual size. And Betelgeuse doesn't look like a sphere. It's got all kinds of lumps on it. And we think that has to do with the red supergiant phase of Betelgeuse prior to supernova. Okay, so that's part and parcel to why we think Betelgeuse is going to go off one day.
Kind of like it's boiling, you mean? I mean, that's not boiling, but
yeah. Well, no, actually, that's a very good point. There are some large convection cells, looks like boiling, that are pushing away from the star. And if there's a companion star orbiting within it, could that be helping it with its gravity? Yes, indeed. So, but they've kind of backed off from that prospect right now, and they tend to think that maybe what's going on at Betelgeuse is that the star isn't within the atmosphere of Betelgeuse, but maybe outside. Oops, sorry, that's the telescope. Outside the orbit of Jupiter by a number of astronomical units. And so they still think there's a companion. And it could still, because it's so large, its gravity could influence what's going on and what we see with Betelgeuse. So that's really kind of interesting. Now, the question, though, that was asked by Evan, Sky Tour fan, I love it. He's a great kid, a great guy. I don't even know how old he is. But Sky Tour Live fan asked that question, could the sun have a companion, like a dim red dwarf? Okay, here's one of the problems in looking at the sun. It's rare to see it, not rare, but we see isolated stars. Okay, Barnard star is an isolated red dwarf star. Okay, it doesn't have another main star that it's orbiting. Okay, there's many. Did I say many? Many stars.
How many?
That don't have companions. Okay, we're one of them. And is that a prerequisite for life? Well, we know that the way we turned out was due to the fact that we are only one star system. We also have a fairly large moon. And the question is, having one star and having a large moon, is that rare? Well, we know that having one star isn't rare. Okay. There are many such single star systems.
Yeah.
Okay. We know
a populated universe, maybe.
It's a populated universe. That's right. Okay. And the thing is, if there are many single such stars, the next question is, are there many planets out there around these stars that may have moons around the size of our moon? That's not a prerequisite for life. I'll tell you why. And I did cover this in my book, The Populated Universe. And, Tara, thank you for that. That was very nice to say. Okay. But what I talk about in the book is a lot of times the creatures that learned to breathe air eased into it, because what they did was they learned how to breathe air by being subjected to air for some number of hours per day. So certain fish would end up being out of water, so to speak, when the tide went out.
Oh, I'm going to write that down.
Yeah. And what is the tide? Yeah, you should. And what causes the tides? Well, the sun and the moon. Not just the moon, but the sun as well. And the tides might be 4 times smaller without the moon. Okay, but the bottom line is that even if we didn't have the moon, all right, we would still have fish being left out of water every now and then. And it's because of the tides offered by the sun. So the sun is 400 times further away than the moon, yes. But we still know that we get tides from the moon and tides from the sun. Take out the moon, and its tides aren't as much, about a fourth, but you still get points where the tide is drawn back when it goes out and tide comes in. And in those spots, you're going to get life exposed to the air for a period of time. Not as much as with the moon in the equation, but we will still get those drier areas that end up getting soaked and then emptied of water, soaked and emptied of water. That's the prerequisite for, as we can tell now, for air-breathing creatures to become mutated to the point where they can actually take advantage of that. Okay, you should know. You may know this. I don't know if you know that, Tara. You probably do. There is one creature that can do this now. A fish. What fish is it that can actually stay out of water for a fairly long period of time?
Oh, I can picture him. He kind of walks on his fins.
Like this, right?
Yeah, but I don't remember the name of it.
Okay, I bet you someone in the chat knows.
Okay, I bet they do.
They're probably saying it already. Okay.
Well, it's probably going to be right in front of my nose.
No, it's not. Okay.
But I can picture it. I'll draw it. Oh.
Yeah. It's a fish called the Karen Belmont says the Frankenfish. No.
It kind of is that way.
Yeah. It kind of looks like a Frankenfish.
Yeah.
No, it's actually called the mud skipper.
Wouldn't have remembered that.
You didn't?
Mud
Okay.
skipper. No.
The mud skipper, we're watching evolution in progress. We're watching the mud skipper evolve an additional capability. It can breathe water, it'll breathe the oxygen in water, it can breathe oxygen in the air, right? And so when it does that, this means that we actually have the ability to study evolution in progress. So, but it developed because, of course, the moon's tides with the sun's drew away and made a lot of mud flats and allowed the mud skipper to be exposed. Like, holy crap, what's happening? Oh, I can breathe. Some fish can't and they die.
Yeah.
Okay. But over time, long periods of time, there's mutations to the DNA which allow the fish and the offspring to take advantage of a niche, the mud flat, the tidal flat niche. And that tidal flat niche is very important because that's the transition zone to walking on land. Okay. So that's something that's very important and in fact, essential to understand. And so I think that it's very important to see that tides on the Earth are due to the sun and the moon, but they're not essential, maybe, for life to form. It definitely allowed for larger expanses of tidal flats to occur, no doubt. Okay, no doubt.
I have a question for you. So when we're looking at those other planets around the other stars and stuff, when we're looking for their oxygen signature, why aren't we looking, and maybe there isn't one, but why aren't we looking for the signature of water? I mean, if there's water, because there's oxygen can be taken from the water, but we could still go to a planet that hasn't evolved, like you just said, right? We could still go somewhere, or do we have to wait till the oxygen is already, because Mars doesn't have oxygen.
Correct. But we have figured out how to make oxygen out of the Martian atmosphere. That's kind of cool.
Yeah. Okay.
But yeah, the oxygen signature, the water signature, these do go hand in hand. Okay. Oxygen is the third most abundant element in the entire universe. Okay. Third. Okay. And hydrogen is the first. So H2O is extremely common in the universe.
Right.
Okay, extremely common. It's in the lunar soil where we used to think it was dry as a bone. Okay, but it's actually in the lunar soil, not as liquid, but as H2O molecules bound up into the soil known as regolith on the surface of the moon. Now, that's interesting, but what's even more interesting is that we know that there's water on many of the asteroids. Some are very, very watery, so to speak. They have lots of water bound up in their surface, soils. And there's many that have water underneath a mantle of water ice. Europa, Enceladus. Enceladus around Saturn, right? And Europa around Jupiter. And then you have Ganymede, Callisto, okay, also around Jupiter. And then, of course, you have another 70-something moons beyond those four, besides Io, Europa, Ganymede, and Callisto. And then that's how far they are from Jupiter in that order. Well, Ganymede and Callisto are also giant. Now, Ganymede is the largest moon in the entire solar system. It's larger than Mercury.
Wow.
It would be a planet if it was in orbit all by itself. Okay? But because it's orbiting Jupiter, it's a moon. Missed it by that much.
Yeah,
okay?
It looks little comparatively.
Yeah, exactly. but keep this in mind. Ganymede has also got an icy surface. And could Ganymede have water underneath? Maybe. Europa sure does. We think Europa has this beautiful, surface, this beautiful thick mantle of ice, and then what's inside is potentially a briny, slushy water. That's really cool. Mm-hmm. That's really cool. And that briny, slushy water is something that's, potentially life-bearing. Now, why would I say that when it's around Jupiter? Why would I say that when it's orbiting a planet that actually has a very, very large radiative field? Well, the question is answerable when you look at the mantle of ice around Europa. Now, anything under the ice, it's not going to have light filtering through. The light is very much fainter, right, out of Jupiter. Okay, so that light is not going to get through. It's very thick. But we look here on Earth. We don't lose life just because we go into the deep sea now, do we? We don't. We see around these hydrothermal vents deep in the ocean, there's all kinds of light.
Bioluminescence, right?
There's bioluminescence too. Maybe that's going on in Europe. We don't know. Are there even fish? We don't know.
I hope there are.
But we know that we're seeing oxygen and H2O and stuff spewing out of geysers from Europa and Enceladus, okay, which is around Saturn, even further up. So that means that the water is in liquid form under the surface. Mm-hmm. Okay, probably because the heat in the core of these little moons is enough to keep the water melted, but you also have the gravitational stresses of the moon being tugged and kneaded like bread dough. Right. Like when Europa goes around Jupiter, it's being tugged on by by Ganymede and Callisto, and a little by Io, and of course by Jupiter itself. And it's a tug of war, and it's constantly stretching and making Enceladus slightly elongate and go back.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, and on a show called The Proof Is Out There, I actually made a model of squishy Europa, and I could show how when it was compressed, you could see how the fissures would open up to allow the water to spew out, and then when you remove that kneading process, they closed up again. So certainly that's going on in Europa. That's probably opening and closing as we do this, and we're getting geysers as a result. It's very cool, a lot of neat stuff, and it means that it's a one-way valve. It doesn't let in space. Okay, it just spews out water.
Cool.
Yeah.
Well, I think we're there, Mark.
We have a minute to go, don't we? Are we there for our break?
I think it's your call.
Okay, well, you know what? It's not a problem. I'm very happy to say that we'll be back for yet another hour.
Yay.
For those of you that are bored, bye. If you're not bored, hang out. We love having you anyway. Yeah. I'm Mark Antonio. This is a live show, first in a long time, and I'm going to be traveling. I'm going to Arizona tomorrow to see her and the rest of our team, and we're going to go out to observatories, and then I have to speak out there in Phoenix MUFON, where I'll be talking about interdimensional travel. So cool.
Very cool.
We're going to be back right after these words. I'm going to go into another dimension myself.
Pop in and
be back. That's quite nice. I actually like that little video there. Shows kind of like a summary of the project. And here's the weird thing. I did this without a full appreciation for just how dangerous the Arizona desert is. Remember that? Remember all that?
I remember. Because it's melted into my brain.
I melted my brain. When I was putting in the telescope out in the Sonoran Desert, Skytear Sonoran, I only had a few days out there, and I was like really, really anxious to get it up and running.
You're working
so
hard.
Much so, I was working hard, and when your Dale, was digging trenches, a couple of things stalled us for like a half a day. One of them was we hit a water line.
Whoops.
And the trencher cut right through a water line in the ground, and I saw water coming up, precious commodity. And we had to back off on doing the rest of the trench, and we lost like a half a day, 3/4 of a day. And I was already short on time. It was 120 in the sun, and it was probably about 110 in the shade.
That's
and I was so interested in getting this done that while they were repairing this water line and going out, leaving the desert to go get supplies to fix this water line, I was filling in the trench with the wires that were out, heading through the to the box, the electrical box that was about 125 feet away. And so I'm filling in the trench. I'm just filling that in, just trying to get that done. Did I do all of it? No. Other people were helping, but
it was a team effort that day.
It was definitely a team effort. But I was trying to work at the same pace that you might work at, Tara, and that Marianne might work at. People that are used to the desert.
Acclimated to the heat.
Yeah, that was early in my time. Now, I had been to the desert many times before that, but I don't live there. So I basically thought, I know what to do. I can do this. And as I found out, I can't.
You and a whole bunch of other people, actually. So
yeah, and Marianne, when we got back to the house, she took my skin, she pinched it like this, and she let go, and it stayed there. It went like this.
You know what that means? Yeah.
It meant I was very, very dehydrated. I didn't notice. I drank my water. I had bottles of water, but I drank maybe 3 of these. And I was supposed to have maybe 3 or 4 times that.
Like 12?
Maybe.
Mm-hmm.
Well, anyway, I should have noticed when I didn't have to go to the bathroom all day that was a big deal.
Well, it just sweats out your pores. So.
Yeah. And then, of course, because of low humidity, you don't feel like you're sweating. It's just hot. So anyway, that night, Marianne took me to the hospital, would not take no for an answer. Mm-hmm. And I went in there. Yeah, she did the right thing. And then the next thing I have to say, they put an IV in, and I took 3 liters of fluid.
Gosh.
One down, 2 down, 3 down. Doctor comes in and says, "What the hell were you doing?" Yeah, and of course, Marianne, being so sympathetic, said, "Yeah, what were you doing?" Instead of coming, and she just started harassing me and making me.
Aww.
And she kept reminding everybody there, the nurses, the doctors, and the hospital staff, well, he didn't know how to handle the desert, and guess where he went? And the doctor said, like, where everybody goes when they don't know what they're doing. And I go, thanks, Doc. So we joke about them naming a wing after me there at this particular hospital. Okay. But I will say this. The doctors and nurses there are members of SkyTour. They did join SkyTour live stream.
It's cool.
So yeah, so we had plenty of new fans from that event. Probably not the best way to announce that, huh? But that's exactly what happened. And
it's
so,
like you took one for the team and got some fans in return. So.
Yeah, I didn't know what I was doing, and that's what happens when you don't know what you're doing.
It's very dangerous in the desert. That happens all the time. People come and hike the mountains here and help out. And
we'll tell people what you found in the desert on one trip out to the Sonoran Observatory. What'd you find?
The tarantula?
No, the human find.
Oh.
Remember that?
Yeah, on one of our trips out there where I was driving and Marianne was next to me and my husband Dale was in the back, and we're driving and we see this dummy laying near the side of the road, and we drive up and we're driving slow. There was a cop car next to it, but it was a body of a young girl, and it was really, really sad. Someone had dumped her there in the desert in the middle of nowhere. And when we worked on the observatory for about 4 hours, when we came back, it was a huge crime scene by that time. So we got to go 4-wheeling off road to get around it. So very sad, very sad.
Very much so.
You can find anything out there in the desert. We found a dog as well.
Oh, that's right. You did. That's right. You found a cool dog.
And that dog now is a service animal. So that's
very
really neat.
Cool.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. Was that
Astro?
That was Astro. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I suggested a name. Okay. I don't know exactly when or if Astro still has the same name, because now he's a service animal. I
don't think he does have the same name. I think it was changed, but I don't recall what it is. So
okay.
Yeah.
And when she said tarantula, this is the tarantula that we saw.
Oh, there it is.
What a cutie. Isn't that beautiful little creature?
He is really pretty. He looks hungry though.
Yeah.
It was a lot. That was inside the observatory.
That's right. By the way, Bill Skywatcher right now is going, "Oh no," because he hates spiders. But this spider,
it's beautiful.
He's on Dale's hand. These guys are very, very docile. They actually make good pets if people know how to treat them. Yeah. And they're very fragile. If one jumped on you or walked on you, and you panicked and you flung it off, you probably signed its death warrant, because their legs are very fragile and they can break their legs. These spiders are really incredible creatures, and they're so pretty. Yet everyone in the chat's probably going, no, never, no.
They'll put him on the ground and he just blended right in. You couldn't even see him.
Yeah. And that's part of their evolution, right? Because they need to blend in, or else they will be meal.
Yeah, it's true. There's a lot of hawks out there and stuff. So.
Yeah, that's right. That's right.
Vultures.
Yeah, vultures are carrion eaters. They'll eat whatever died out there.
Yes,
including you if you let them.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So there's a lot of things out there that we have to be careful with, right?
Yeah.
And I certainly won't be preaching to anybody about it because I was subject to stupidity of my own early on. No more though. Now I'm much more in tune with the desert in that way. Certainly not nearly as much as someone who's there all the time. Okay, like this one.
But it can still get anybody, so you still have to be careful.
She goes for walks out in North Phoenix there, on the trails up there.
It's beautiful.
It's beautiful. She sent pictures. I've seen gorgeous shots she takes. It's just beautiful.
Yeah, and not during the heat.
No. And she's an artist, which you guys know because she actually made this.
There it is. That looks nice there.
Yeah, ignore that guy in the weird white legs. Okay. But this was a picture of Tara's artwork. That's the door for the Sonoran telescope.
Right.
And Sky Through Live Stream, she spelled in orange bottle caps. And that's the Orion Nebula in bottle caps of different colors. She did not change the colors of anything. These colors are the way they were. And so somebody drank a lot of orangeade or something.
Oh yeah, it was fun. Did it in like 2 days.
And the blue ones were like Bud Lights or whatever. But see, that's kind of funny because you were actually someone that worked in a bar for years earlier.
That's correct.
And you collected all these in order to make them into something someday.
That's exactly right.
And that someday something turned out to be the door of an observatory she never knew she was going to get involved with.
That's right. You had to use them somehow.
I think that's really cool.
Oh, thanks. Thanks so much. Yeah. As an artist, I hate to throw anything away, and there was just such a large volume. So,
yeah.
Mm-hmm. So that was fun.
Wow. Yeah. So, and we've since upgraded our all-sky camera. This was our all-sky camera when we first started. This little mini guy. And we ended up putting up a much better all-sky camera. Here's Tara actually doing some maintenance out there in the Sonoran Desert. Okay. And I'm on the phone. I think Marianne took this photo.
Probably, yeah. Yeah,
and then I was on the phone in Connecticut watching what they're doing.
If you stare at it long enough, it'll fix itself.
Yeah, you want to hear something funny?
Sure.
The Sky Through Live Stream, that one, the Sonoran Desert, that's been down for a week.
Mm-hmm.
Nobody knew why. Yeah, but guess what? Today it came up.
Oh my gosh. Do we know why?
I don't. I have a message to the owner to see if of the property to see if maybe
the power
went out and then came back, which would facilitate a reboot of the system. So what I'm getting at is I've got to put that timer back in to shut it down because we took it out, remember?
I have it somewhere here.
I'll need that. If you can remember to bring it tomorrow night, I'll take it out to the
I'm going to write this down, folks, so I won't disappoint you because otherwise it won't work.
See, I had a timer and I thought, well, you know what? I'm going to see if we can get rid of the timer so I can always have access at all times. Because I want to be able to have the telescope be on when I want it on. Mm-hmm. And I have yet to find a way to turn on power to the building remotely. I have a way to do it, but I'm working on that circuit. And when that's done, I'll be able to do it. But in the meantime, I'm going to put this timer back in so the telescope comes up from like 7 a.m. Arizona time to noon Arizona time, and then goes off until 6 p.m. Okay, and then it will come back on just by adding power to the system. And the temperature inside was well over 135 or 140 degrees. Might have gone past the computer's thermal capability and might have shut down. But that wouldn't have made it come back up unless power went off and then on again. So maybe we're looking at a thermal shutdown situation.
Okay.
See, full disclosure, I have no problem. I want everybody to know.
I need to figure it out.
Well, this is what we need, and like anybody, I want folks to help us with this too. If they want to help us out, they can do this. They can join our Patreon at skytourlive.org. they can send me an email, or Tara or Marianne at contactskytour@gmail.com. You can send a message to Tara and say, love those glasses. Okay, you can say whatever you want. Okay, or love your hair. Or for me, go away. I mean, whatever you want. You can send any message you want to any of us through Contact Sky Tour. We all see it. And to get to our pictures, which are free that we give away, you can see us at the skytourlive.org.
Very cool.
A nonprofit site. Okay, we give away all the imagery, and
That means free.
That means free, and that's the raw imagery. If you actually want processed imagery with really good finished photos that you can put on anything, well, then you can actually go and join our Patreon. Okay, and part of what we do is brought to you by Asterion Foundation. We got a small grant from them.
Thank you, Asterion.
Yeah, thank you, Asterion. We're going to be and Mike Toomey, we're going to be buying a piece of equipment called a spectrograph, and we're putting it in the Benson facility. That's going to allow us to look at the details and the chemistry inside of supernovae, inside of nebulae, and supernova remnants. Okay, we're going to be able to look at stars and figure out what they're made of, and maybe see these different spectra polluting the star's imagery from these binary stars that are really, really closely orbiting. We could look at Betelgeuse and maybe see Betelgeuse's spectrum infected by something else or contaminated by another object, another star. So, the resolution of the spectrograph is pretty good. So we might be able to do some of that work, and I'm really excited about that. So that's what's coming. But if you want to help us out, we definitely need it. We have to pay for Starlink at both sites. Mm-hmm. Okay. So we're paying for Starlink at the Sonoran site. We're paying for Starlink at the Benson site. And we need that. And, I don't take any money for what I do, and I don't intend to. All right. I want to turn this into a free worldwide astronomy network.
Awesome.
All right. Mm-hmm. And we can do that. And you know what? If you can join our Patreon, if you go to our skytourlive.org, you can click the donate button and you can give us some money if you feel like supporting us. And that will also be very, very much appreciated. And everything you give us is tax deductible. Okay.
That's right.
We are recognized as a 501c3 nonprofit for real. So it's not, it's not an organization where you're funding Mark and his toys. Okay. You're funding SkyTour Live. You're funding her ability to go out and do maintenance. You're funding Marianne's ability to go do maintenance in Benson and pay for the gas money to get there. You're not funding my trips anywhere. You're not funding any of that. Okay. You're not funding my time doing streams. All right. Because I don't charge anything for that. All the money that you donate during our streams, by the way, we've got like super chats all the time.
Yes.
We've had several $100s come in a night on some of these streams.
Amazing.
It all goes to SkyTour live stream. Mark sees none of it.
Yeah.
And part of me wishes I didn't do that. But you know what? I'm kidding. It's all for the greater good. I absolutely love astronomy. And as most of you know, I decided at age 9 I was going to be an astronomer. Okay. After a strange missing time event. And then I felt like the sky was scary. And so I kept looking over my shoulder outside at night, thinking there was something out there looking at me. And I don't know what, but it came from a missing time experience. And I never wavered. I did become the astronomer, and now I have a better view of the universe. I have enough of a view of the universe now to understand that I really don't know as much about the universe as we should. The more you know, the less you understand. Mm-hmm. Right? I mean, that's really what happens.
It's true. It's so true.
Yeah. Well, you know how it is. You're part of this with us,
Yeah.
So getting back to some of the astronomy things that we're looking at and some of the phenomena, we look at a lot of different things. Like when we get to look at Cygnus, which is going to be kind of overhead by around 9 o'clock and 10 o'clock, maybe 11 o'clock, actually, your time. Okay.
Oh, okay.
That's 2 a.m. my time. I can't look at it tonight because I have to be up early to go flying out to there.
That's a trip.
Yeah. But Cygnus has a feature in it, an object that's called the Crescent Nebula. This is a crescent-shaped nebula that actually has a hot star in the middle of it that's going to be going supernova sometime soon. Soon for the universe could be 100,000 years, by the way, just so you know.
Oh,
okay?
wow.
It could also be yesterday, and the light's coming to us. Okay, so we don't know. But it's called a Wolf-Rayet star, very, very hot. Okay, Wolf-Rayet stars can be so hot that their surfaces can be upwards of 200,000 plus Celsius.
How can you even measure that?
Yeah, by looking at the spectrum and the way the lines are, you can determine that. And the color is a very good indicator. If we follow what are called black body radiation specifications, we can actually see how hot things are. And sometimes they're off the scale, and we have to use spectral features to determine the heat being emanated by these things. You know, white dwarfs are cool in comparison to these Wolf-Rayet stars.
Wow.
Right. Yeah, and there's one right in Cygnus, and it's blown off the outer layers of the star. So when you're looking at the star you're seeing in there, you're actually looking at the core of the star exposed. You know,
the rocky core, maybe.
Well, there's no rocks in there. It's all very, very, very hot. You know, high pressure, hydrogen, helium, carbon, oxygen, and other elements, all the way up to iron, number 26, that are being generated in that core. And so the core is a shell of all kinds of elements being made in these successive shells. And if we were to see, or if we could see, for instance, when silicon is being made in the core of a star, then we know to turn our telescopes to it. Now we can't, because it's in the core, and the core is not exposed. The outer regions we can see, but nothing that's in the core. Right. And if silicon's being made in the core of a star, it means the star has 1 day left to live. Silicon is made for 1 day in the core of a star before it goes and goes supernova. And that's what's interesting about this. So, you know, it's basically 1 day.
It takes a day for it to burn up or change or
it'll
disassociate or whatever it does.
It'll fuse silicon, the element silicon, for only 1 day before the star goes supernova.
No matter how big the star is.
Yeah, well, it has to be big to make silicon.
Sure.
Okay, so once it fuses silicon for 1 day, that means the star is going to be going supernova, because only stars that are that massive can actually go supernova, right? And silicon's lifespan in a star is 1 day. So all the silicon in our chips, all the silicon that may be in your body, some people have more silicon than others.
And all those, the silicon-based individuals, and we're the carbon, right? So
yeah, we're all carbon-based, right? But silicon in our periodic table is, in fact, it's fairly plentiful on our planet. All of it came from only 1 day of making silicon in the heart of a star, in the heart of the stars around us in the universe. And so when they all went supernova, that silicon was released to the interstellar medium, and then our sun's stellar nebula was made with it. The sun can't make silicon. Okay, the sun isn't hot enough to make silicon. The sun can fuse hydrogen into helium, which it does. And when the sun begins to run out of hydrogen, then the sun's going to start to expand into a red giant. At that point, it may be able to make helium into carbon in its core. That requires a temperature 10 times or more what it's got now. So it has to be even higher. And the way you get those higher temperatures is for the cores to contract when they start running out of the materials to fuse. Hydrogen runs out, the core contracts because the outward star's mass is pressing down on that core and trying to press it onto non-existence. But the star's outward radiative energy is constantly holding the star up. So for all the pressure pushing down to collapse the star, you got the outer pressure pushing outward to keep it up. That's called hydrostatic equilibrium. Okay, and that's what's holding up our sun. If we start running out of hydrogen, we're not going to have a lot of outward pressure, and then the star is going to start to collapse on the core, compressing the core smaller and smaller. And when that happens, it gets very hot. And there's a point in time where maybe the star can undergo a flash where it starts to fuse helium and make helium into carbon. And when that happens, the star goes, whoa, I got more fusing I can do now. And it starts to expand. And we see this big red giant that's caused from that. Okay. And then that goes for a while, right? And then eventually the red giant, if it can't fuse anything beyond that, once all the helium is fused, the star will just start to collapse again. And that's when the star can collapse into a tiny little white dwarf. Okay?
Not really that big, is it?
Well, the white dwarf is actually a very compressed core of the star. It's actually so dense that you could, if you had a teaspoonful of it here on Earth, it would weigh quite a lot. Okay, a teaspoonful. Let me see. I did a calculation. I think I calculated that the teaspoonful here on the Earth weighs as much as a car.
Wow.
Yeah, like over 2,000 pounds. And then if it went further to a neutron star, which is even more compressed, and even needing more mass to collapse, then a teaspoonful of that. Actually, no, I think a sugar cube size, my mistake, a sugar cube of white dwarf would weigh about 2,000 pounds.
That's about a teaspoon.
Yeah, and a sugar cube of a neutron star, a further collapsed star, is so much more dense that it would weigh billions of tons on our planet. Okay, billions. Yeah. Okay.
Wow.
Yeah, I have to look actually at what the amount of pounds it would actually weigh. I have to look the number up. It's astronomically different.
Oh my gosh.
Oh yes, very much so. So yeah. So
those are those big
cool
numbers in the universe.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Say hi to Kathy.
Hey, hi. Hi, Kathy.
Yeah. Yeah, it's very, very cool.
Kathy.
Yeah, Kathy's been a very, very
loyal
very,
friend.
very loyal person. Yeah.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Friend of
and
the
hello
show.
to Sally, who saved a jumping spider today, which is very nice considering that tarantulas can't jump as far, but that's pretty cool.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah. So neato. And so that said, I want to throw it back at you for a minute and tell me if you have anything else you'd like to ask, or if I've sparked any questions in your mind about this.
Well, yes and no. I have a question that's not on the same topic that I still would like more information on, and that's the parallel universe intersections.
Oh yeah.
You really have done a great job starting to explain that, but I'm not really sure. You hit an intersection, but then what? So that's kind of where I'm stopped. Yeah.
Okay. First of all, what is a PUI, parallel universe intersection? We talked about, we did a show one time where we actually talked about parallel universes and what they actually meant, and there's several competing theories about how parallel universes work. And one of them is that it's onion skins, all coincident at the same spot, but in different dimensions. So you have onions, and it's like the outer layers are always moving and they're turbulent like waves. Oh. And so sometimes you can push up into a different universe and then they go away, right? And push up into a different universe and go away. And at that point, if something is pushing through into our universe at that point, right? And you happen to be right there, might you see something, right?
Right.
Now, what might you see? Well, I saw something that I can't explain, and it actually physically injured me. I was working, I mentioned this story, and I was working on a special effects prop here for a movie I was doing with Douglas Trumbull, famous filmmaker who passed away, unfortunately. Oh, yeah. And he was a great guy, worked with him for 10 years. And while working on this prop, I noticed a creature walk in. It looked like a dog, but I couldn't really tell because I couldn't really see it too well. It was like semi-transparent, kind of see through it, but not really. Oh. It was there and it wasn't, kind of thing. I'm looking right at it.
Predator.
It was like a predator. And you see this thing shows up in his shoulder and starts shooting. No, but See how easy it is to sidetrack me.
Yeah.
So, no, that's all right. That's me. So it curled up and it was on the floor doing some rhythmic motion. It looked like it was licking itself like a dog, and it kind of reminded me of a Pekingese dog. You know,
Oh, weird.
the kind of little yap yap dog. Doink 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 doink. Came walking like wait, doink doink, kind of like Pepe Le Pew.
That's what I was thinking.
Baby. Yeah,
It is love at first sight, no?
right. Come here, my little buttercup. Yeah. But it curled up on the floor and just doing this rhythmic motion. And so I walked over to it and I stepped on it with my left foot.
Ah,
I know, right? You love dogs.
nice
But
going.
I didn't know. It was semi-transparent. I didn't know if it was really there or not. I didn't know if it was in my mind or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And when I stepped on it, it noticed. And it got up. And it ran out of my shop. But it took my foot with it. Wow.
Oh.
And it flung my left foot up in the air, and my right foot followed. I crashed on my shoulder on this side on the workbench, and then crashed on this shoulder on the ground and whacked my head on the floor. And I got up in pain going, ow, ow, oh gosh, I can't move this arm now. And my left knee was hyperextended. And I'm going, wow, that was incredible. Ow, you know. And so I had to go to the emergency room actually because that I couldn't move my arm after that. And I discovered that I had really cranked my shoulder joint from that impact. And a few days later, I went back and they said, yeah, you've got all kinds of scars in there, scarring and healing crap going on in there.
Wow.
So I think you're going to end up with a frozen shoulder. And I did. I ended up being unable to raise my arm higher than this like a few weeks later. And I had to go to the hospital and get therapy, and then went to PT, and they're like cranking my arms out, yanking. This is amazing. I can do this because
would never be able to tell. You'd never know.
It was this lifting like this was so painful. It was like tearing. It's like ripping my skin. Well, anyway,
all from a parallel universe intersection. Perhaps.
And perhaps, yeah. So the parallel universe intersection is where we have this onion skin idea. The other thing is the other topology that's commonly thought about is one called the soap suds theory. Now, there's more evidence for this one than the soap suds theory, but here's the soap suds one. You pour soap in the sink, you turn on the sink, and you let it go, boom, make a big froth. Mm-hmm. The idea is that's each single bubble, each single sud is a universe in the soap suds universe. Now, not that many perhaps, but it is nature that potentially is showing us a layout, a common layout, a naturally occurring layout is soap suds. I mean, look at a soap sud, interior sud, inside all the other froth. Each wall of the sud is flat to the next soap sud. It's a flat facet. Only the ones on the outside have to use the law of minimal surfaces to curve and use less space, okay, and be efficient energy-wise. So only the outer ones are round, but the ones on the inside are actually going to be ones that are flat, okay? So the flat facets on the interior, round on the exterior. Where are we in that? Don't know.
Yeah.
Are we in the outside? But what's past those in the universe? That's this philosophical thing. And that's why it's difficult to conceive of a soap suds universe, because we don't know what's out beyond the edge of the universe in the outer case. In the inner case, we know that if we penetrate that flat membrane between universes, we go to a different universe.
Right.
Okay. So if we're at the edge of one of those things, then instead of a concentric shells where something pokes in, well, then maybe at the membrane they're porous and we can see things coming in and out of our universe.
Oh, that would be cool.
You know, like a little bit like this. So where you're here on that flat facet, maybe there is some distance that allows us to see. So if we're near a flat facet, maybe we see other creatures from other universes melding into us and melding out because they're probably not rigid. We don't know. Thank you, Kathy. This was very nice of Kathy.
Kathy, you're awesome. Thank you.
She's so sweet.
She really is.
Thank you so much.
So on the background radiation, I'm going to get the name of that wrong, but aren't there those spots that are either cold or hot that they think might be one of those flat surfaces if it is a bubble universe?
Well, actually, very good, very good point. So the cosmic microwave background, which is what you said is the background radiation.
Okay.
Right now, we think of it as the remnants of the Big Bang. It's the cooling of the Big Bang. We can only see out about as far as that was because we think it happened 13.8 billion years ago. But the universe was opaque because there were no atoms in the early universe. It was just all this hot material that you couldn't see through and wasn't transparent. Only as the universe cooled down several 100,000 years later did the atoms start to form and thus make the universe more transparent to radiation trying to escape. And so we see back to about like 13.6 billion years ago or so, 13.5. And so that's the point at which we see this cosmic microwave background, which is actually the remnant, the glow, afterglow, okay, of the universe being born.
Yeah.
Okay.
Cool.
Yeah. So, but you have to understand that's not how big the universe is. Yes, we see out to 13.6 billion light years.
In any direction, right?
In every direction, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But that's not the size of the universe. See, the size of the universe is way bigger, considerably larger. Here's why. 2 reasons. Number one, it took the light from that cosmic microwave background to get here 13.6 billion years. Well, the universe is already expanding outward. So as that light left that location, it traveled 13.6 billion years. Okay? That's the light we see. Right. But where is this outer marker now on this cosmic microwave background? It's another 13.6 billion years later, expanded.
Mm-hmm.
However, we also notice something else. So that doesn't mean that the universe is, 26, plus or 27 billion years old. Okay, because we've also discovered that the universe is accelerating outward. It's not just expanding at a constant rate. Edwin Hubble in the 1920s came up with and discovered that galaxies further from us, they're way, way out here, are moving away from us faster than galaxies closer to us. Okay? Now, that value became known as the Hubble constant. Yeah. The galaxies out here were expanding at a constant rate further away from us. Okay, what's that expansion rate? What's the Hubble constant? You can visualize it by blowing up a balloon a little bit and putting black dots all over it, and then continuing to blow it up. Every black dot on that outer edge of the balloon will go further and further away from every other black dot on the balloon. So everywhere you look in the universe, in 3 dimensions, that's 2 dimensions, everything is moving away from everything else. Okay, so that is a model of the expansion of the universe. So if we look at that particular case and we look at how the universe was expanding, well, we make if it's a constant value of this universal Hubble constant of expansion, well, then we could say, well, the universe was expanding actually at a rate that is, concomitant with the fact that it's moving outward at the Hubble constant. And then we discovered that galaxies much further away than these galaxies, which are further away, are actually going faster further away from us than we thought. Oh, no.
Yeah.
So we can't explain why the expansion is accelerating outward, but that's what has been discovered. All right. And this acceleration outward means that the universe had even more distance it could cover as it expanded. And right now, we're looking at a universe that theoretically our facet, our little sud, or our concentric shell, whatever the model you pick, is around 93 billion light years in diameter.
Wow.
And so Yeah, not 13.8. We can't see out that far, okay? Because, we only see out to about 13.6 billion years, right? Now, if we came along 20 billion years from now, well, then we would see out further because we would have seen the cosmic microwave background expanding that much further, but only 20 billion years worth. Okay. So the universe is still considerably larger. And there's a whole, the majority of the universe we can't see.
Right.
And never will see it.
Well, that kind of, if we're expanding like that, that means, because it's, I can't remember what you call it, but it kind of reminds me of a sponge, the universe, how how all the stars and everything are kind of moving in these, like, they're flowing in like little rivers, sort of.
Right, that's correct.
So in the middle of it, that has to be that dark energy or dark matter is being formed to push those apart, right? I mean, what's causing that?
That's exactly right. That acceleration outward. Okay. And you're talking about Laniakea. You're talking about the streams of galaxies all moving toward one thing or another. And we're all moving, all the galaxies in our local area and in areas we can see are all moving toward the constellation Virgo, toward the Virgo supercluster, to a location known as the Great Attractor. Okay.
What do you know?
What do you know? Yeah, well, the Great Attractor is obviously an area where there's a concentration of mass. So maybe moving toward that is something that's obviously very, very much like what you're talking about, right? But Laniakea is this long, sweeping connection. It looks like a neural network when you look at it. It looks like a network.
Or a sponge or something,
Yeah, and it's all strung together.
Yeah.
And we're seeing this super size superstructures out there of the universe, which is incredible. And so it shows us that the universe, for all its evenness, is very uneven in different places. We look in some places, it's clusters of things. We look in other places, there's nothing or very little. So the universe has got this unevenness throughout it. It's pretty cool, So I think that's really something impressive.
Well, it's fascinating, and I think that may help give us answers if we could figure out why it's expanding.
Yeah, I mean, and I want to bring up Evan's question because this is interesting, because this is something that is very much on my mind. I was thinking about this. How do you both think about the new theorem, he meant to say theorem, about the universe being in a black hole? Quite strange to think about. Well, we say that only because we can't see out past a certain amount. But we calculated the size of the universe around 93 billion light years, based on the expansion. And that force you're talking about that's causing, it's a repulsive force pushing everything away from everything else.
Right.
Yeah, that's dark energy in the theory. Okay, dark matter is what's actually, that has to do more with when galaxies are rotating, they seem to rotate as a rigid disk, but they do sweep out as they rotate. They do sweep out curves, so the arms do get curved as stuff on the outer rim is rotating slower, so that stuff drags behind a little. Okay, and so that's dark matter causing that, an envelope of this non-baryonic matter, which means matter we don't understand, more exotic, that's
Black
out there.
Matter. Oh no, sorry.
Dark.
Dark.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah, and so it's actually adding mass to the galaxy, so it spins more like a rigid disk. Because if you think about it, galaxies with these big spiral arms in them, by now they would have wound up tight, wouldn't they? If these things were rotating the way our solar system works. Mercury goes around the sun in 88 days. Pluto takes over 200 and something years, 220 years, 230 years to go around the sun. So Pluto is lagging behind. So let's expand that model, as early astronomers did, to say, well, when we look at the galaxy, maybe things closer to the core of the galaxy are whipping around at high speed, and outside the galaxy, way far outside, things are moving much slower. And if things were doing that, then there was a problem because we would have seen these long spiral arms get all wound up tight.
Right.
The 13 billion years of existence of our universe, we would have seen these all tightening up and everything, but we don't. We see some that are just kind of loose and sloppy. And we see some that are tight. So what's going on with that? What's going on there is that we don't understand what's going on in the universe out there to really say, right? And so that's where the whole concept of dark matter came from. Okay, now when we look outside at night and we look with the Hubble Space Telescope, we see, and that's James Webb, we see distant objects. And then we see nothing beyond it except the cosmic microwave background, right? So could it be that we're in a black hole, according to the Sky True Life fans' question? And I have to say, we don't know, but it seems as if the soapsuds theory or the concentric shell theory could explain what we're seeing out there, okay? But if we're talking about being inside a black hole, we know that black holes can be very large. Let's take the one inside Messier 87. Messier 87 is the Virgo galaxy's Virgo galaxy itself, and it's a giant elliptical galaxy, and it's almost round, and it has this jet of material coming out, which we image fairly often. But this Virgo galaxy is a very, very large galaxy, and it has a massive black hole in its core called a supermassive black hole. We have one.
Go figure. Don't all galaxies have a black hole?
It's very likely that the galaxies all have supermassive black holes at their centers. And maybe those are the nuclei of a galaxy for all we know. But I will say this. The one at Messier 87, which I think is 44 million light years away, we were able to image it using the Earth itself as a telescope. We have the rotation of the Earth, and as the Earth rotates, we have these telescopes at different latitudes imaging Messier 87. And then as the Earth now is rotating on its axis, and over time, we have an Earth is 8,000 miles in diameter, an 8,000 mile diameter telescope. And with an 8,000 mile diameter telescope, all looking at the same thing at different latitudes, we're catching this data, all right, and we're able to have a resolution that will show us what's inside Messier 87.
Oh, cool.
And we actually had an image of the black hole in Messier 87, and we could calculate its size.
That's amazing. I think that came out on the papers and everything. That was amazing.
Mm-hmm. And do you know how big it was?
I don't.
Oh, I can tell you.
I'm not surprised.
Now, this goes to Evan's question about whether we're inside a black hole. The black hole in Messier 87 is about 5 to 6 times the size of our solar system.
Oh, my goodness. Okay.
So,
wow.
So you can already imagine if we were inside that black hole. First of all, we have to understand what's inside a black hole. There's only theoretical constructs. None of them allow for empty space inside a black hole. It's all compressed material, all right? So in all likelihood, we're not in a black hole. But you could imagine that if you don't know that and you don't think about that part of it, you can imagine our solar system being inside a black hole, and then another, 6 times further out or 5 times further out all around is the outer edge of that black hole. Or if it was for the universe, it has to be billions upon billions of light years in diameter. And then you have to ask, where did the mass come to create such a large black hole? And you say, well, everything in the universe. But it's a super compressed interior. It's got an interior that's all compressed with material that has been eaten by this black hole over millennia. So we wouldn't have stars in here that are free to orbit other stars. There would be compressed material in between them. We don't see that.
Interesting.
We don't see any of that compression wherever we look. We just see emptiness some places. And black holes are not known for being empty. They're known for having material inside of them. So I lean in the direction to say there is no black hole that we're within because we don't see any of the compressed material that we would expect to see every which way we look.
Wow.
See that?
That makes sense.
Yeah.
Sure does.
But
If you
that
were-
is a very good question, and I want to
Yeah.
thank Sky to Life fan for that question.
Yes, thank you. But Mark, theoretically, if you were in a black hole and it wasn't so compressed, would we be able to see the curvature where all the light is stuck around the edge of it?
Say that one more time.
Silly question. So if we were
No.
inside a black hole, would you be able to see the light that doesn't get out of the black hole? You know, the curvature at the
Well, exactly. There you go. That's a very important point. The answer is most likely not, because if we were inside a black hole, it'd have to be bigger than our cosmic microwave background that we can see, right? And you got to remember all the energy that went into making such a large black hole. We see no evidence of that. Okay, there's not enough mass in the universe from what we can see to make such a massive black hole. So even if the black hole ate everything we know in the universe, this black hole wouldn't be this big. Okay, because it's compressed. It should be compressed.
It wouldn't be another dimension either then, right?
No, probably not. I think that, if you think about that, again, it brings up the age-old conundrum. Okay, we're in a giant black hole, which I don't think we are, but let's say we were. What's on the other side?
No, I don't know.
What's out there?
You'll never know, just like we don't know. It's the same on both sides, right?
Right. But if you think about these different topologies for the layout of a concentric shell universe of spheres of universe, all concentric within themselves and in different dimensions, well, then you can have this kind of thing going on. The soap suds one, you can have the facets where they can peek through a facet now and then. It's not a border. It's not a wall.
Right.
It's a, we don't know. Okay. But it is an edge of the universe for us. Right.
A membrane of some kind.
Exactly. It's a flat facet. Okay. And the only ones, like I said, that be round are the ones on the outside where the law of minimal surfaces is in play. And you end up having a curved outer surface, even if small, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But we think our universe is round. I mean, is that what the cosmic background radiation tells us, the shape of it?
Well, the cosmic microwave background, we see it in all directions, right? We see that the universe wasn't orderly. It had clumping going on. And this relates to the other thing you said earlier, which I don't think I really addressed, and that was the cooler spots and the hotter spots in the cosmic microwave background. Mm-hmm. It shows that certain areas were clumping, and it showed that certain areas were able to cool, right? And so that right there shows us that the universe wasn't homogeneous. It's not like a wall of a dull blue, cold stuff out there. It's dull blue, it's hot, it's cold, it's got various areas. It looks like a rash. Okay, it's got blue spots, lots of red trails, then blue, and then it's pockmarks of blue and red, and not in reality. Though the blue and the red is just temperature variations. Okay, you don't see any of this with your eyes.
Right.
That's why it's called a microwave background. It's actually in the infrared region. And in the infrared region, it's in the microwaves region of the size of the wavelength of light.
Right.
Okay. So maybe we're inside a gigantic microwave in someone's kitchen.
Ah.
Heard that one before.
Yeah, it's so fun to think about things like that.
Yeah, it is. It's all philosophy. Mm-hmm. And see that, and that reaches into cosmology, not astrophysics, not astronomy, cosmology. And in Sky Tour live stream, we don't really deal with cosmology as much, but more astronomy, where we can talk about the objects we see out there and so forth, and like and when we look at our universe, like right now, if we go back to the Benson scope, okay, this is the view that will happen at 8:36 Arizona time, which is 11:36 our time, okay. And this is if we could take away the air, this is what the universe would look like. It would be so much more detailed. Okay. And I can get rid of these things here. Okay. And get rid of these things here.
The labels.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you can actually see more, but that's what the universe would look like without light, without air. Sorry. All right. But if you saw that, you might have about 3 to 4 to 5 seconds to register that with your eyes before the lack of pressure killed you. Because without air, we lose pressure. So let's bring back our air. We're grateful for having the air.
Yes.
But, however, the James Webb and the Hubble see the sky like this. Okay?
Yeah.
And that's very important. Okay? Well,
the James Webb is infrared too, right? Is it?
Yes, the James Webb is only infrared. So it'll see the infrared universe. Now, this is the visible universe. This is what Hubble sees. All right. And as far as, and I still got some names here, but as far as this is the sky that we would all love to see.
Oh, yes.
Yeah. And the universe.
Beautiful.
Yeah, the universe is actually, and the sky is actually designated as an ecosystem that's to be preserved. So, yeah, it is. And so
that's our space junk, right? Well, that's just our solar system, not universe. So, yeah.
Well, yeah, true. But you're right. But Starlink satellites are still bright, and they interfere with almost every image we take.
Yes.
Which is kind of interesting. And by interfering with all the images that we take out there, unfortunately, that makes it very hard to. It makes it very hard for us to image objects, because our telescope is very sensitive. Mm-hmm. And that sensor, that camera right there, that red thing at the back, very sensitive. So we see the trail of the satellite coming through, but we want that sensitivity, And I can remove the satellite trails anyway. But we're cool. Doing, So I unfortunately won't be able to stream tonight. Of course, it's clear in Benson and it's Sonoran, of course.
Beautiful day today.
Yeah. However, I will make this promise. Tomorrow night, after dinner with you, and I think Heidi is going to be there too.
Okay.
Right.
Yay!
We'll see what we can do about streaming tomorrow night, because I have another setup out there, courtesy of Marianne's studio space she has. And we might be able to actually do it there.
Awesome.
And that'll be kind of cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, fun.
Yeah, but you know what? I think you guys have managed to waste another 2 hours with us tonight. And I'm very happy you did.
Me too.
Yeah. But I want to just thank everybody who's watching with us. It's most of the Sky Tour crowd and others. We'll see. But hey, I promise you, clear nights are coming. We've got several clear nights in a row coming. So I'm going to make sure that I spend at least 1 or 2 of them streaming this beautiful night sky that we have out there in the universe.
Should be good weather.
It should be. I know. And the monsoon out there is going to be coming to an end. I guess, we're looking at August, you think?
Yeah, it's pretty humid right now, though. Well, for me, it is.
let's explain. But let's do that real fast before we go. What's humid for you?
I don't know what the humidity is, but humid for me is anything over 10%, maybe.
Okay, you hear that, guys? Anything over 10%. I've been living in 70% humidity for years.
I'm impressed. 10%.
10%, and that's high.
Actually, it feels good when it's like that. So I guess we got to go, Mark. We got to go.
All right, guys. Thank you for coming along. I'll sit here in my 65 to 80% humidity. Okay, Tara will live in her 6% most of the time.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah. You clean off dry off with a dish towel when you get out of the shower.
Yeah.
All right, guys. You have a good night, and we'll see you again. Thank you for joining
Thank you, everyone.
Sky
Take
Radio
care.
with us. Bye, everybody.